I had a rare and aggressive cancer. They said I had 6 months to a year left. I was only 33. I wasn't scared of dying. I was just scared of what would happen to my kids. I hoped Jake would finally be there for us, but instead, he got worse. He stole my credit cards and spent thousands at bars. He bought gifts for other women. My brother saw him at a club one time with some woman in a red dress.
You're a disgrace, Jake. Bella's dying and you're spending her money on some fling? Back off, Mark. She's not dead yet.
The one time he visited me at the hospital, I begged Jake to stay with me. Please, Jake, I need you. The kids need you. Stop hurting us like this.
Well, I can't handle this, Bella. You're so sick. You even look ugly now. I need to live my life with beautiful and healthy women, not you.
A few days later, Jake packed a bag and ran off with a rich young woman he'd met at a bar. He didn't call. He didn't ask about the kids. He didn't care. But my family stayed. Lily took the kids in. My parents paid my medical bills and sat. I was 19 years old when I first met Jake. He was a junior at the state university where I was studying business. I still remember that lecture hall that always smelled like old chalk and fresh coffee. Jake sat in the back row, slouched in his chair, wearing a worn-out denim jacket. His dark hair kept falling into his eyes, and his smile was wild and warm. That smile made my stomach do flips. Jake didn't come from much. His dad had left when he was a kid, and his mom worked long hours in a factory just to keep things going. My life was the opposite. My parents owned a chain of hotels, a vineyard in Napa, and even a penthouse in Manhattan. I had private tutors, went on fancy vacations every summer, and never had to worry about money. But love? That was harder to find. Jake and I started talking after we were assigned to the same group project. He was funny, smart, and very honest about his hard life. I liked that about him. I started buying him coffee, then noticed he skipped meals, so I brought him burgers. When I saw his sneakers had holes, I bought him new ones. When he couldn't pay his tuition, I used my allowance to help him out. My friends didn't understand what was going on and were against it.
Bella, you're not his bank. Why the hell are you paying for his life?
I'm not his bank. Yes, but he's trying, Sarah. He just needs someone who believes in him. And that person is me.
How can you be so dense? He's clearly using you for your money.
No, Jake is not like that. You have the wrong perspective of him. Of course, Sarah didn't believe me, but I didn't care. By the time we were seniors, Jake wanted to propose. I was shocked that he loved me to the extent of wanting to marry me while we were still in college. He didn't have any money, but his words were full of love.
Bella, I love you and I really want to marry you, but I can't afford a ring. Could you maybe pick one out?
I was happy and in love, so I did as he asked. I went to a little jewelry shop downtown. My heart was pounding as I picked out a simple gold ring with a small diamond chip. It wasn't fancy, but it felt special because it was ours. He gave it to me under an oak tree on campus, and I felt like I'd just won the whole world. My family wasn't excited when I told them I was getting married. My dad said Jake wasn't good enough for me. My mom worried I was too young to know what I really wanted. Still, they loved me. So, even with their doubts, they agreed to support us. Before our wedding, Jake said he wanted me to meet his parents.
They're not fancy like yours, but they should get to know you before the wedding.
I agreed, thinking it was the right thing to do. Jake's parents lived in a small, worn-down house on the edge of town. His mom opened the door. His dad sat quietly in an old recliner, looking tired and older than his age. They welcomed me with polite smiles, offered sweet tea, and asked about the wedding plans. After some small talk, Jake went outside to take a call. That's when his parents called me aside into the kitchen.
Bella, are you sure you want to do this? You come from a different world than we do.
You know, Jake has always been a dreamer, not much of a doer. We're worried he won't be the kind of man you need.
He loves you. I feel he does. But love isn't always enough. He's not exactly hardworking, Bella. We just don't want to see you get hurt.
I opened my mouth to defend him by saying he had potential, that he just needed time. But before I could speak, Jake walked in. He must have heard part of the conversation.
What is this? Are you pulling her aside to talk trash about me? You think I don't see what this is? You're bitter, stuck in your miserable lives, and now you want to drag us down too. You never supported me. You just want Bella to leave me so I'll end up like you, angry and poor.
His mother looked heartbroken, and his dad's jaw clenched, but neither said a word. I quickly reached for Jake's arm. Jake, stop, please.
No, I've had enough of this crap. I'm done listening to them ruin everything.
He stormed out the front door, slamming it behind him. I turned back to his parents, feeling so embarrassed and shaken. I bowed my head and apologized to them.
Just take care of yourself, Bella. That's all we ask.
I hurried after Jake, finding him already halfway down the block, kicking at gravel and muttering to himself. I caught up, grabbed his hand, and he let me hold it. But he didn't speak the rest of the ride home. The wedding came a week later. My family paid for the wedding. It was a big, beautiful ceremony at our family estate, with white roses, a string quartet, and a 5-layer cake. At the rehearsal dinner, my sister Lily pulled me aside.
Bella, are you sure about this? He's not helping. No job, no plan, nothing.
I love him, Lily. That's what matters. He'll change. After the honeymoon in Cancun, which was also paid for by my parents, Jake refused to work. He said he'd stay home once we had kids, and that I was better suited for a career anyway. I didn't argue. My dad got me a great job in the marketing division of a big company. I made good money, but the hours were long and exhausting. I left early in the morning and came home late at night. Jake stayed home, watching sports or playing video games. He didn't cook or clean. I told myself he was still adjusting. Then I got pregnant with quadruplets. Emma, Noah, Ava, and Liam came into the world tiny and fragile. It was the hardest time of my life. I was sick all through the pregnancy, and the delivery nearly broke me. I was stuck in bed for weeks, barely able to move. I thought Jake would help. I thought he'd finally step up, but he didn't.
I'm not built for that 9-to-5 stuff, Bella. You'll be back at work soon. Your family's rich, remember?
My parents stepped in again. They sent money for diapers and formula. They paid our rent and even hired a nanny when I was too sick to move. Lily drove 2 hours every weekend to help. She brought groceries and toys for the babies. Jake didn't notice any of it. He slept through their cries. He used the grocery money at bars. I didn't have the energy to fight him. When I finally went back to work, the kids were already toddlers. They were full of energy, always talking and running around. They spent more and more time at Lily's place. She had a cozy house an hour away. The kids loved it there. Jake didn't love them. He yelled when they spilled juice. He snapped when they woke him from a nap.
Bella, the kids aren't happy around him. Let them stay with me more. They need love, not someone who's always angry.
When the kids turned 10, I started to feel very sick. I was always tired. My body hurt. I felt dizzy a lot. After weeks of tests, the doctors gave me the news. I had a rare and aggressive cancer. They said I had 6 months to a year left. I was only 33. I wasn't scared of dying. I was just scared of what would happen to my kids. I hoped Jake would finally be there for us, but instead, he got worse. He stole my credit cards and spent thousands at bars. He bought gifts for other women. My brother saw him at a club one time with some woman in a red dress.
You're a disgrace, Jake. Bella's dying and you're spending her money on some fling? Back off, Mark. She's not dead yet.
The one time he visited me at the hospital, I begged Jake to stay with me. Please, Jake, I need you. The kids need you. Stop hurting us like this.
Well, I can't handle this, Bella. You're so sick. You even look ugly now. I need to live my life with beautiful and healthy women, not you.
A few days later, Jake packed a bag and ran off with a rich young woman he'd met at a bar. He didn't call. He didn't ask about the kids. He didn't care. But my family stayed. Lily took the kids in. My parents paid my medical bills and sat by my hospital bed. My friends brought meals, books, and comfort. I was surrounded by love. Then, something incredible happened. The doctors did new scans and couldn't believe it.
Bella, we don't know how, but the cancer's gone. You're going to live. This is a miracle.
I cried for days, not just from the relief that I was going to live, but because I had survived without Jake. I had been saved by the love of everyone else. 3 months later, I moved in with Lily. I was still weak, but alive. The kids were so happy. They were even happier about Jake leaving.
Mom, we're glad he's gone. He was always yelling.
We don't need him. You're the best mom.
Aunt Lily's house is better than being with him.
We love you, Mom. We'll be okay.
I was so happy to have just kind children. I started a small business after I was completely okay. At first, I just sold it to neighbors and friends. But people loved the products. They were natural, beautiful, and affordable. Soon, stores started carrying them. In 1 year, I was local. In 3, I was national. We moved into a bigger house with a lovely garden. The kids were so happy. My business kept growing. Magazines called me a self-made mogul. My kids grew into amazing adults 15 years later. Emma became a lawyer. Noah became a doctor. Ava became an engineer. Liam became an artist. They were my greatest joy. One day I was working in my home office when the gate buzzer rang. The guard said someone was asking to see me. I walked to the gate and was shocked to see that it was Jake. But he didn't look like the man I used to love. He was thin, dirty, and his eyes looked empty. He dropped to his knees and started crying.
Bella, please. I'm dying. I have a terminal illness like you did. I can't afford treatment. I don't even have food. I'm so sorry for abandoning you. Please help me.
Before I could answer, 4 cars drove in and my kids stepped out. They'd told me earlier that they'd be visiting. Their faces went cold once they recognized who the dirtbag on the floor was.
You've got some nerve coming here after you left my mom to die.
How dare you? Are you crazy?
Jake couldn't stop his tears. He tried to reach toward me, but I stepped back. You made your choice, Jake. I was nothing but kind to you from the first day I met you. I spent half of my life taking care of. And the one time I needed your help, what did you do? You abandoned me and your own kids. I hate you so much, and I pray you die from that illness you have. Don't ever show your face here again. As he kept crying and begging us, Liam picked up a stick from the garden and pointed it at Jake to push him away.
You're not even worth touching. Go crawl back to your mess.
Jake stumbled away in tears. He was obviously filled with regrets, and that was enough payback for me. But karma didn't waste time. Apparently, the young woman Jake had left me for turned out to be a con artist. She showered him with sweet words, told him she believed in his dreams, and encouraged him to invest what little he had left into a business. But one morning, he woke up and found her gone. No note, no goodbye, just an empty apartment and a drained bank account. She used Jake, drained his last savings, and disappeared, leaving him homeless. He tried to come back to me. He showed up once at a charity event I was hosting, uninvited and trembling. Before security could take him, I walked over. How's it feel to be the one used and dumped? He had no words, just tears, and security took him away. A few months later, Lily sent me a video clip that had gone viral. It showed a man on a dirty street corner downtown, ranting at the sky. His face was haggard, his clothes torn, his voice slurred and furious.
Yo, this dude said some golden girl ruined his life. Bro's lost his mind.
The comments were brutal. Another drunk blaming women for his failures. Go to rehab, Grandpa. I stared at the screen, silent. It was Jake.
He wanted to humiliate you publicly. Now strangers are laughing at him.
I didn't feel pity. I felt peace. Months later, I got another update, this time from a city hospital. They said a man had been admitted after getting beaten up on the street. He'd been pretending to be a sick veteran to beg for money and was caught scamming people. A group recognized him from earlier complaints and attacked him.
You're kidding. Jake? Faking to get sympathy?
He was never brave enough to fight for his family, but bold enough to lie for beer money. I still didn't visit. I'd done all the healing I needed. Then, one day while reviewing documents for a charity gala, I noticed a familiar name buried in a report. The city had quietly buried several unclaimed bodies from the local shelter, among them Jake Carter. No family came forward. No one claimed the ashes. He was buried in a numbered grave with no marker, no headstone, just a plot of dry dirt among hundreds of others.
That's all he ever gave. Emptiness. It's fitting.
Still, I prayed. Not for Jake's soul, but for peace, for my children, for myself, for all the women out there who once believed loving a broken man could fix him. The cruel irony? His final days were funded by my family. Thanks for watching. Meanwhile, Trent could do no wrong. B's and C's on his report card were celebrated with dinners out and new video games. My straight A's were met with a perfunctory good job and reminders that academic success wouldn't make up for my lack of social graces. The dinner table became my personal battlefield. Every meal was accompanied by commentary.
Do you really need a second helping, Greta? No wonder you can't find clothes that fit.
Trent needs those extra calories. He's an athlete. Growing boys need to eat. Yeah, Greta, we're just concerned about your health and the health of the furniture in the house. Because if you get any fatter, then I doubt that chair can support your weight. Oh, Trent, such a good sense of humor.
Hi there, my name is Greta, and I was 10 years old when Trent came into our lives. I remember the day clearly. My parents gathered me in the living room, faces glowing with excitement I rarely saw directed at me. My mother was practically vibrating with joy.
Greta, we're adopting a little boy. You're going to have a brother.
Oh, okay. That's great news.
Yes, it certainly is. We've wanted a son long before you were born, so this is something we've really been looking forward to.
I didn't understand then what that meant for me. I was naive enough to be excited. A playmate. Someone to share my life with. I had no idea I was being replaced. You see, I never quite fit my parents' expectations. They wanted a social butterfly, thin, vivacious, the kind of daughter they could parade around at their country club functions. Instead, they got me. Overweight, introverted, and perfectly content with my books and art supplies. The disappointment was palpable from early on. But once Trent arrived, they stopped pretending.
Trent, come try this new baseball glove I got you. Thanks, Dad. It's awesome. You've got a real arm on you, son. You're going to be the star of the Little League team.
Dad, would you watch me draw sometime? My art teacher says I'm really good.
Maybe later, Greta. Trent and I are busy right now. Why don't you go help your mother in the kitchen?
That was the pattern. Trent got baseball games and fishing trips. I got suggestions about diets and comments about my appearance. My mother was no better. I remember one shopping trip when I was 14. I had finally worked up the courage to pick out a dress for the school dance.
Oh, Greta, honey, that's not going to work with your figure. Are you sure that you really want to go to the dance? These dresses aren't cheap after all.
But I like this one. The blue is pretty, and I think that the dance will be a lot of fun.
Sweetie, you need to be realistic. Girls like you can't wear colors like that. It draws too much attention to your size. And it's not like anyone is going to ask you to the dance. It's a waste of money.
Meanwhile, Trent could do no wrong. B's and C's on his report card were celebrated with dinners out and new video games. My straight A's were met with a perfunctory good job and reminders that academic success wouldn't make up for my lack of social graces. The dinner table became my personal battlefield. Every meal was accompanied by commentary.
Do you really need a second helping, Greta? No wonder you can't find clothes that fit.
Trent needs those extra calories. He's an athlete. Growing boys need to eat.
I only had one serving.
Don't be so sensitive, Greta. We're just concerned about your health.
Yeah, Greta, we're just concerned about your health and the health of the furniture in the house. Because if you get any fatter, then I doubt that chair can support your weight. Oh, Trent, such a good sense of humor.
The breaking point came shortly after my 16th birthday. I had spent hours preparing a portfolio for an art competition. The winner would receive a scholarship to a summer art program. I was so proud when I was selected as a finalist. Mom, Dad, I'm a finalist in the state art competition. They're displaying my work at the gallery next weekend. Can we go?
Next weekend? Sorry, kiddo, that's Trent's big game. The scouts are coming.
You understand, don't you? This could be Trent's future. I'm sure your little art show will be lovely, though.
It's not just a little art show, it's a state competition. I could win a scholarship.
Let's be realistic, Greta. Art isn't a real career path. Not for someone like you.
He doesn't mean it like that, honey. We just want what's best for you.
Yeah, Greta. You should come to my game instead. You can see me score the winning touchdown.
That night, I made my decision. I had saved nearly $2,000 from birthdays and the part-time job I'd been working at the local library. The next morning, while everyone was at Trent's practice, I packed a single suitcase and left. I ended up in Seattle, about as far from my small Midwestern town as I could get on my limited funds. I lied about my age, found a job waiting tables, and rented a tiny room in a house with 3 other girls. It wasn't easy, but it was mine. My roommates became the family I never had. Jasmine was the first to really see me.
You know what your problem is, Greta? You believe all that bullshit your parents fed you.
What do you mean?
I mean, you walk around like you're apologizing for existing. Like you're taking up too much space in the world. That stops today.
Jasmine dragged me to her kickboxing class. I was terrible at first, but something about throwing punches made me feel powerful for the first time in my life. Slowly, things began to change. My body grew stronger. I started running with my other roommate, Ellie, in the mornings. Not to lose weight, but because I loved how it made me feel. By the time I turned 18, I had my GED and was working 2 jobs to save for college. The weight had begun to fall off, not because I was trying to be thin, but because I was finally living a life that nourished me instead of depleted me. When I started attending college, I discovered something unexpected in my first speech class. I was good at public speaking. Really good. The shy, self-conscious girl who used to hide behind her hair found her voice.
Greta, have you ever considered law school? You have a natural talent for constructing arguments.
Law school? Me?
Yes, you. You command attention when you speak. That's a rare gift.
It took 7 years of night classes, scholarships, student loans, and relentless work, but I did it. During those years, I also committed to my health, working out regularly and shedding the extra weight I'd carried for too long. I graduated from law school near the top of my class and landed a position as an assistant district attorney. There was something deeply satisfying about fighting for justice, about giving voice to those who couldn't speak for themselves. I built a reputation as tough but fair, someone who wouldn't back down but also wouldn't prosecute without solid evidence. I had been with the district attorney's office for 5 years when they walked into my life again. My parents looked older, worried, nothing like the confident figures from my childhood. They hovered in my office doorway.
Greta, you look different.
It's been 12 years, Mom.
You've done well for yourself. We've followed your career.
And yet you never once called or wrote to me. What do you want?
Well, we've been very busy.
Sure you have. Again. What do you want?
It's Trent. He's in trouble.
Trouble was an understatement. Trent was facing charges for drug trafficking, with evidence linking him to a murder during a deal gone wrong. My parents had mortgaged their house to pay for his defense with one of the more reputable defense lawyers in the city, but they wanted more. They wanted me to sabotage the case from the inside.
You know how these things work. You could lose evidence, question the wrong witnesses.
Please, Greta, he's your brother. Family helps family.
Family helps family? That's rich coming from you two.
We made mistakes, we know that. But Trent doesn't deserve to go to prison for the rest of his life.
I looked at them. These people who had damaged me so deeply, who had never once in the 12 years I'd been gone tried to find me or apologize. Now they wanted me to risk my career, my integrity, everything I'd built for the golden boy who could do no wrong. I made my decision. I'll see what I can do.
Does that mean that you'll help?
I can't say what I'll do, but I will do what I can with the limited power that I have.
Oh, Greta, thank you. I knew you'd help us. How?
The case was assigned to me the next week. In the preliminary hearing, Judge Walters raised the obvious concern.
Trent, the prosecutor in this case is your sister. Do you have any objection to her representing the state in this matter? Do you find this to be a conflict of interest? No, Your Honor. I know that my sister will do her job appropriately, and that there is no conflict of interest. My innocence will be demonstrated, however.
The smug smile he gave me said it all. He thought I would throw the trial. He thought wrong. For 3 weeks, I built an airtight case. Every piece of evidence, every witness testimony, every legal argument was meticulously prepared. I worked 18-hour days, leaving nothing to chance. In my closing statement, I laid out exactly who Trent was, a predator who sold drugs to teenagers, who had been involved in the death of a 20-year-old college student, who showed no remorse for his actions. I painted a picture of a monster that deserved the worst punishment possible. The evidence is clear, Your Honor. The defendant has demonstrated a pattern of escalating criminal behavior with no regard for human life. The state recommends the maximum sentence. The look on Trent's face when the judge sentenced him to life in prison is something I'll never forget. Pure rage. He lunged across the courtroom, breaking free from the bailiff who was trying to restrain him.
You lying beach! You said you'd help me.
In the chaos that followed, Trent managed to grab a guard's weapon. He aimed it at me, his face contorted with hate. My father lurched forward, whether to stop Trent or help him, I'll never know. The gun went off in the struggle. My father fell to the floor, blood blooming across his chest. He was dead before the paramedics arrived. Trent's sentence was made even harsher. Life without the possibility of parole. The Golden Boy's future was gone for good. 2 weeks later, my mother showed up at my apartment, her eyes red-rimmed but fierce with anger.
Wallace, how could you? Your own brother, and now your father is dead because of you.
Because of me? Trent pulled the trigger. Trent broke the law. Trent chose his path, just like I chose mine.
We gave you everything. We took care of you.
Something in me snapped. Years of hurt, of being made to feel less than, of being invisible except when I was being criticized. It all came flooding out. Before I even realized what I was doing, my hand connected with her face in a resounding slap. You gave me nothing but pain. You humiliated me daily. You forced me to run away at 16, and now you have the nerve to ask me to risk my career for him? You got exactly what you deserved. Both of you.
Greta, please.
Get out. It's good that Trent got sent away for the rest of his life, but the real tragedy is that Dad was the only one shot, and that you weren't also. Don't ever contact me again. As I closed the door on my mother for the last time, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The little girl who was never good enough was gone. In her place stood a woman who had built herself from the ground up, who had found her strength not despite her past, but because of it. I won't say I never look back. Sometimes I wonder what might have been if my parents had loved me as I was. But then I remember, their rejection set me free. It forced me to find my own path, to discover my own worth. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Just helping Miguel finish up, sir. Did I ask you to help him? Get back to your section. I don't pay you to be a good Samaritan. It's my fault, sir. My back was acting up. Then maybe you should find a new line of work. And you, Wallace, remember your place. Ex-cons don't make the rules here. I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. In my old life, no one would dare speak to me like that. But I reminded myself that I was trying to be better, to be different. So I nodded and walked away. Victor made my life hell. Sometimes, he'd give me impossible tasks just to mock me when I failed. I remember one day I came to work 7 minutes late. Victor forced me to wear a t-shirt with ex-con printed on it and told me to stand in a corner of the office for nearly an hour before starting work. Another time, I came back late from a lunch break and Victor made me wash his car and drive him home as some sort of punishment. Things only got worse. Victor seemed to take special pleasure in riding me harder than anyone else. He'd randomly inspect my work, timing my bathroom breaks, and making jokes about my past in front of other employees. About 2 months in, my name is Wallace, and I used to be what you might call professionally dangerous. For 7 years, I ran with the Red Scorpions, one of the most feared gangs. I wasn't just some low-level thug either. I was Ace's right-hand man. Ace, our leader, trusted me with everything. I had the respect of all the people on my street, which made me feel powerful. But power comes at a price. By 25, I'd been stabbed twice, shot once, and spent 18 months in jail. I watched 3 of my closest friends get buried before they hit 30. The math wasn't hard. I knew where this road ended. The turning point came on a night in March. We'd hit a rival's stash house, and things went sideways fast. In the chaos, a stray bullet went through a bedroom wall and hit a 6-year-old girl who was sleeping. She didn't die, thank God, but seeing her tiny body on that stretcher, knowing we caused that, something broke inside me. I still remember Ace's reaction when I told him I was out. You can't just walk away. This isn't some job where you give 2 weeks' notice. You're family. I know that, but I've got to try something else, Ace. I'm dying inside, man. The only way people leave the Scorpions is in a body bag. You know that. I've been loyal for 7 years. I've bled for you. I've never snitched. Never cheated you. I'm asking for one thing. Let me walk away clean. To my surprise, after a tense silence, Ace nodded slowly. You saved my life twice. I guess that buys you something. But understand this. You're on your own now. Don't come running back when civilian life gets too soft for you. Fair enough. I'd like to say the transition to normal life was smooth, but that would be a lie. With my record, decent jobs were scarce. I bounced between warehouse gigs and construction sites for almost a year before landing a position at Meridian Shipping. The pay was decent, the hours regular, and most importantly, it was legitimate. My supervisor, Victor, seemed decent enough at first. During my interview, he'd made a big show about Meridian being a second-chance employer that didn't discriminate against people with records. It took exactly 3 weeks for that facade to crumble. The first incident was small. I'd finished loading my assigned containers ahead of schedule and was helping Miguel, an older guy with back problems, with his section. What the hell do you think you're doing? Just helping Miguel finish up, sir. Did I ask you to help him? Get back to your section. I don't pay you to be a good Samaritan. It's my fault, sir. My back was acting up. Then maybe you should find a new line of work. And you, Wallace, remember your place. Ex-cons don't make the rules here. I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. In my old life, no one would dare speak to me like that. But I reminded myself that I was trying to be better, to be different. So I nodded and walked away. Victor made my life hell. Sometimes, he'd give me impossible tasks just to mock me when I failed. I remember one day I came to work 7 minutes late. Victor forced me to wear a t-shirt with ex-con printed on it and told me to stand in a corner of the office for nearly an hour before starting work. Another time, I came back late from a lunch break and Victor made me wash his car and drive him home as some sort of punishment. Things only got worse. Victor seemed to take special pleasure in riding me harder than anyone else. He'd randomly inspect my work, timing my bathroom breaks, and making jokes about my past in front of other employees. About 2 months in, I was working late to finish a rush order. The warehouse was nearly empty, just me and a few others trying to get everything loaded before morning. Wallace, my office now. When I entered his office, Victor was reviewing security footage on his computer. He turned the monitor toward me. It showed me taking my lunch break earlier that day. Want to explain this? That's my lunch break, sir. You were sitting for 17 minutes. Lunch is 15. I had to use the bathroom right after. I started lunch later than the other guys, so I figured that if I took another minute to use the bathroom that it would be okay. Are you arguing with me? No, sir. Just explaining. Let me make something crystal clear. You're on thin ice here. One word from me, and you're back on the streets. And with your record, who's going to hire you then? Nobody wants gang trash around decent people. I felt something dark and familiar stir inside me, but I pushed it down. I needed this job. I was 7 months clean from the gang life, had a small apartment, and was even thinking about taking some night classes. I couldn't throw that away. Understood, sir? It won't happen again. I know that such things didn't seem like much, but it was constant. I always felt Victor watching me, just waiting for me to make even the smallest mistake, and whenever I did, he made sure to rub my nose in it. It was humiliating. The final straw came 3 weeks later. I'd been saving up for months to buy a decent used car. Nothing fancy, just an old Civic that would get me to work without relying on the buses. The day after I bought it, Victor spotted me arriving in the parking lot. Well, nice ride. Business must be booming. Excuse me? I'm just saying, ex-gang member suddenly has cash for a new car? Makes me wonder what you're doing after hours. I saved up for this. Been taking the bus for almost a year? Right, and I'm supposed to believe that. Maybe I should call your parole officer, suggest a drug test. I wasn't even on parole anymore, but that wasn't the point. He was implying I was dealing drugs, in front of 3 other co-workers who were walking in with me. I'm clean, sir. You can test me anytime. Don't tempt me. I've got my eye on you. Later that day, I discovered my car had been keyed. A long, deep scratch running the entire length of the driver's side. There were no security cameras in that section of the parking lot, but I knew. Victor's smile when I mentioned what happened to it told me everything. That night, I couldn't sleep. I paced my small apartment, rage building with each step. I tried to do everything right, I'd walked away from a life where I had respect, power, and protection. For what? To be humiliated daily by a small man with too much authority. By morning, I'd made my decision. After work, instead of heading home, I drove to the south side, to a rundown bar called the Red Door. I hadn't been there in nearly a year, but some places never change. The same bouncer stood at the door, and his eyes widened when he saw me.
Wallace? Man, I thought you were Ghost.
Hey Rico, Ace around? Back room. He's not going to be happy seeing you. We'll see. The bar full of familiar faces that turned as I walked through, some nodding in recognition, others watching warily. I made my way to the back room and knocked once. The door opened, and there stood Ace, looking exactly the same. Maybe a few more tattoos, but still the same calculating eyes.
Well, look what the cat dragged in. The civilian returns.
We need to talk.
Why should I listen? You walked away, remember?
Because what I'm about to propose will benefit us both. Ace studied me for a moment, then stepped aside, allowing me into the room where 4 other scorpions were playing cards. They all tensed when they saw me, hands instinctively moving toward their waistbands.
Easy, boys. Let's hear what our prodigal brother has to say.
I laid it all out for them. Victor, Meridian Shipping, and most importantly, the opportunity. Meridian handled millions in merchandise, with security gaps I'd identified during my months working there. I explained how a strategic hit could yield massive returns with minimal risk.
So you want us to rob your workplace? That's a quick way to prison, brother.
Not robbery. Think bigger. Meridian has a shipment coming next week. High-end electronics from Japan worth over 2 million retail. The manifest lists them as kitchen appliances to reduce insurance costs. Victor falsifies these documents regularly to save the company money.
Keep talking.
The shipment arrives at 2 a.m. on Thursday. Night security is one guy who spends most of his shift sleeping. I can provide the gate codes, alarm details, everything. You take the merchandise, I make sure the investigation focuses on Victor. Ace leaned back, a slow smile spreading across his face.
And what do you get out of this?
Victor destroyed. I've documented every illegal practice he's implemented. Tax fraud, insurance scams, safety violations. When the police investigate the theft, they'll find a manager cutting corners and falsifying records. His word against mine won't mean much when they see the evidence.
You've thought this through, but why come to me? You could have gone to the cops with this evidence.
Because I want him ruined, not just fired. And I want a cut of the take, 20%. Enough to start fresh somewhere else. Ace considered this for a long moment, then extended his hand.
Welcome back, Wallace, temporarily.
The plan went off even better than I'd anticipated. The Scorpions hit the warehouse clean and professional. No violence, no witnesses. By the time the alarm was finally raised, they were long gone with merchandise worth over 2 million. When the police arrived, I played the shocked employee perfectly. But I also handed over a thick folder of evidence documenting Victor's illegal practices over the months. The falsified manifests were particularly damning. He'd been declaring expensive shipments as lower value items for years, saving the company on insurance and taxes while skimming the difference. The police investigation quickly shifted from a simple robbery to a wide-ranging fraud case. Victor was arrested 3 days later, led out of the warehouse in handcuffs, his face a mask of confusion and rage. When he spotted me watching, something clicked, and he lunged at me, screaming,
"You set me up. This is all him. He's a criminal. Check his background."
But the officers just pulled him away. His credibility was shot. Several other employees came forward after his arrest, sharing their own stories of abuse and witnessing fraudulent practices. The company was eager to make Victor the scapegoat for everything to avoid broader liability. I resigned 2 weeks later, citing the trauma of the robbery. With my share from the Scorpions, transferred through multiple untraceable channels, I had enough to move to Arizona and start over. Again. Sometimes I wonder if I took things too far. Victor was a bastard, no doubt about that, but I engineered his complete destruction. He'll serve at least 5 years for fraud and embezzlement. His wife left him. His reputation is ruined. And then I remember the look in his eyes when he called me gang trash. The satisfaction when he keyed my car. The way he wielded his power like a weapon against those who couldn't fight back. The old Wallace would have beaten him half to death in that parking lot. The new Wallace found a more elegant solution. I'm not sure which version of me is more dangerous. I've been clean for 6 months now in Phoenix. I work as a dispatcher for a trucking company. My boss is a decent woman who judges people on their work, not their past. I don't think about Victor much anymore, or the Scorpions. But sometimes, late at night, I feel that familiar darkness stirring inside me, and I wonder if you can ever truly leave the old life behind, or if it just waits, patient as a spider, for the moment you need it again. Subscribe now and you'll get absolutely nothing, but we'll love you forever.
Rachel and Evelyn's hate followed. They wanted to punish me for leaving Marcus. One evening, I was walking home from the grocery store, carrying heavy bags, when someone's headlights suddenly blinded me. And before I knew it, I was hit by a car. I crashed into the pavement. I looked at the driver who'd hit me and I was shocked to see Rachel. She smirked and drove off. Fortunately, passers-by took me to the hospital. The doctor said I was lucky because I only had bruised ribs and sprained ankle, no fractures. I reported it to the police, but Rachel claimed it was an accident. There were no witnesses, and in that area there were no cameras. Without evidence, the case was closed. I limped for weeks. I became so scared. Hello, I'm Kelly, a 34-year-old black woman, and a mother to Maya, my 6-year-old daughter, and Ethan, my son who's 4. I used to be a huge lover of love. I believed love could conquer hate. In fact, I believed love could conquer everything, but I was wrong. Marcus, my ex-husband, thought marrying me would soften his family's hearts. His sister Rachel and his mother Evelyn hated me from the start. And no, not for who I was, but for my black skin. They never wanted me in their family. Marcus swore they'd change, but they didn't. For 6 years, I endured their cruelty. He never stopped them. That's why I divorced him. But Rachel and Evelyn wouldn't let me go. Their hate hunted me, nearly broke me. Nearly. Well, it began with love. I was at that age where most of my friends were in happy relationships, and I wished to have mine and experience the love I admired so much. Marcus was a software engineer. He was very kind, with a shy smile that warmed me. We met in a coffee shop. He bumped into me, spilling his latte on my sneakers. It was like a romantic comedy movie brought to life. He apologized a dozen times, cheeks red from embarrassment. We met again 2 days later, and we decided to exchange numbers. After a few weeks of chatting and getting to know each other over late-night calls, Marcus asked me out. Of course, I said yes. I was so happy to have a man in my life, and especially one that was as kind as Marcus. We dated for a year and fell so hard for each other. I couldn't imagine us breaking up. I really couldn't imagine life without Marcus. He erased all of my fears when he proposed on a windy beach. The rain soaking us, the ring was trembling in his hand, but it was so romantic. I said yes with all my heart. I was ready to spend the rest of my life with him. But I worried about his family. He'd mentioned they were from a traditional town. I'd thought out beliefs and all wouldn't tally. But what I didn't know was that traditional meant racist. Marcus took me to meet them 4 months before our wedding. We didn't tell them we were engaged yet. Their house was very grand, cold, filled with heavy furniture and family photos, all pale faces. Evelyn greeted me with a smile that obviously didn't reach her eyes. Rachel sized me up, arms crossed. As if the reception wasn't bad enough, dinner was a battlefield. I nearly puked.
Kelly, where's your family from?
Chicago. My mom's a teacher, my dad's a mechanic.
Mechanics? Not exactly high class.
Well, Marcus usually dates girls more like us. You don't appear to be on our level, young lady.
Marcus squeezed my hand under the table, whispering in my ear and telling me not to feel bad, that they'd warm up. I wanted to believe him. Rachel mispronounced my name all night, smirking each time she did to show that it was intentional. My name was a pure English one, yet she found a way to twist it. Evelyn asked if I'd lived in rough neighborhoods, implying I was beneath them. I'm a nurse, college-educated, raised in a loving home. To them, my blackness made me less. Marcus stayed silent, eyes on his plate. He said later they needed time. Foolishly, I buried my pain for him. 2 months later, Marcus told them we were engaged. Well, they erupted in fury. He came home looking so pale, his hands shaking.
They're mad, Kelly. They think we're not right together.
Because I'm black?
They didn't say that. They just want someone else for me.
They said it without exactly saying it. I knew, but I thought it was better to not speak. Expectedly, Evelyn called me the next day, and she didn't mince her mean words.
You stupid gold-digging black idiot. How dare you try to get married to my son? You know damn well you're not what Marcus needs. My son deserves better than a black woman. Call off the stupid engagement.
Rachel sent Marcus texts, saying I'd drag him down. Marcus stubbornly pushed through with the wedding. As expected, his mother and sister refused to attend. Marcus begged them, but they wouldn't budge. He said we'd marry anyway and show them love wins. I hoped so much that he was right. Our wedding was small, just my family and friends. Rachel didn't show. Evelyn ended up showing up, but she sat in the back and refused to participate in anything. We settled into a small house after the wedding. I worked night shifts at the hospital, while Marcus coded from home. Maya came 2 years later, Ethan 2 years after. I thought kids would soften Evelyn and Rachel. Instead, their hate increased. Evelyn called Maya and Ethan mixed, like it was a flaw. Rachel said they didn't look like her family. Their curly hair and brown skin were foreign to her. At Maya's first birthday, Evelyn brought a doll with pale skin and straight hair. Maya was too young to notice, but I saw the jab. Marcus refused to see what I saw and said it was just a gift. I cried alone that night. Evelyn visited once a month, always with barbs. She'd ask why I let Maya's hair stay so wild, as if her curls were wrong. Rachel mocked my cooking at family dinners, saying it was too ethnic for their taste. I made jerk chicken once, hoping to share my heritage. But Rachel pushed her plate away.
What is this nonsense? This is too spicy. Don't you have normal food?
Marcus laughed it off like an idiot, saying she was just being picky. He never defended me. They kept being cruel to me, doing and saying hurtful things, embarrassing me in front of family members, and even saying bad things to me in private. I told Marcus everything and begged him to stand up to them countless times, but he'd shrug and say they were stubborn but harmless. Harmless ended when Evelyn tried to straighten Maya's hair without my permission. Maya was 4, crying as Evelyn tugged her curls flat with hot iron. I walked in on what she was doing. I was so shocked that I screamed, then yanked the iron away and told her to leave.
Are you crazy? How dare you tell me to leave my son's house when I'm only helping his daughter look proper?
Marcus came in as I was telling her I didn't want any excuses. When we explained what happened, he said I overreacted.
You should learn to be patient, Kelly. If my mother doesn't like that kid's hair, she can change it.
Are you hearing yourself, Marcus? Maya is my child, not your mother's. I love her hair the way it is. Your mother had no right to straighten it.
No, you're being rude now. Watch your tone, Kelly.
I'm being rude? But your mother wasn't rude for tampering with my daughter's hair? You're crazy. Before I could speak again, Evelyn slapped me. Marcus said nothing. He apologized to his mother and took her out. That was the last straw. I filed for divorce a month later. He begged me to stay and promised he'd talk to them. But it was too late. I couldn't tolerate the disrespect and mistreatment anymore. I moved with Maya and Ethan to a small apartment across town. I thought we were free. But again, I was wrong. Rachel and Evelyn's hate followed. They wanted to punish me for leaving Marcus. One evening, I was walking home from the grocery store, carrying heavy bags, when someone's headlights suddenly blinded me. And before I knew it, I was hit by a car. I crashed into the pavement. I looked at the driver who'd hit me, and I was shocked to see Rachel. She smirked and drove off. Fortunately, passers-by took me to the hospital. The doctor said I was lucky because I only had bruised ribs and sprained ankle, no fractures. I reported it to the police, but Rachel claimed it was an accident. There were no witnesses, and in that area there were no cameras. Without evidence, the case was closed. I limped for weeks. I became so scared. I installed cameras at my apartment. Before I slept, I checked the locks twice. But even with how careful I was, things still escalated. One afternoon, I went to pick up Maya and Ethan from school, but they weren't there. The principal said their grandmother took them early. I called Evelyn immediately.
The kids are better with us. You don't deserve them. We've taken them. We can't leave them in the hands of a black monster.
I called the police. They found Maya and Ethan at Evelyn's house 3 hours later. My kids were crying and looking so scared. Evelyn said it was a misunderstanding, and the police gave her a warning, nothing more. I didn't care. I was just happy that I'd gotten my kids back. Marcus called after the kidnapping.
Kelly, I'm so sorry. I didn't know they'd go this far. Come back. We can fix this.
I hung up without giving him a reply. He didn't protect me before, so I didn't trust him to do so now. I knew I couldn't stay there anymore. Marcus's family were dangerous, but I also needed justice. I hired a private investigator, Tony, who was also an ex-cop. I gave him half of my savings, told him about the hit and run, the kidnapping, and everything. I told him to find every incriminating video about them that he could find. A month later, he brought news. Apparently, Rachel had been boasting online about hitting her former sister-in-law and getting away with it. She was saying a lot of bad things about me. Evelyn, on the other hand, had been stealing from her church's charity fund for years. Rachel used out of the money for her flashy life. Rachel scammed a rich black man too, and used the money to rent a yacht to host her birthday party. Tony had bank records, emails, even a bar video of Rachel laughing about the scam. I didn't go to the police yet. I wanted them to sweat. I sent anonymous letters to the church board, hinting at Evelyn's theft. I mailed Rachel a short video of her confessing to the scam, with a note where I wrote, "I know what you did." While they were trying to figure out who I was, I struck. I gave Tony's evidence to the police. They arrested Rachel for attempted assault with a vehicle and scamming. Evelyn was charged with kidnapping and embezzlement after the church pressed charges. Police searched her house and found more proof. Rachel cried in court and begged for mercy. Evelyn glared at me. The judge wasn't swayed. Rachel got 8 years, Evelyn 6. The church scandal ruined their name. The whole town turned on them, even their friends. Marcus approached me after justice was served.
Kelly, I failed you. I didn't see how bad they were. Let's try again for the kids.
I refused to listen to any more words and walked away. His apologies were dust. He let them torment me for years. I filed for full custody of my kids. The judge saw his inaction, my evidence, and everything. In the end, I won. A friend told me about a hospital in Canada. They needed nurses, offered good pay, and helped with visas. I applied and got the job. I sold my car, packed 2 suitcases, and told the kids we were going on an adventure. Maya asked if the mean ladies would find us. I hugged her and said no. They couldn't touch us anymore. Before leaving, I visited Rachel and Evelyn in jail. I told them about the private investigator and how I'd found out everything.
You ruined my life.
No, I didn't. You ruined your own life. You're so two-faced. Being a racist and scamming a black man? That's so irritating of you. I hope you rot in here.
You'll always be nothing, never one of us.
You're in jail, you have no freedom. Darling ex-mother-in-law, even if I'm nothing, I'll still be better than you. An old hag like you shouldn't be in jail, but look where your stupidity landed you. Foolish people truly grow old foolish. You're a real example. I left them behind bars, laughing at them screaming like raging dogs. They'll be raging for a very long time. Thanks for watching. I gave him an explanation as to why I couldn't come to work. In return, I got a threat.
If you're not in the office in an hour, don't bother coming back at all.
But the doctor said I could die if I don't take the time to rest.
Did I stutter?
But my contract says I can take a week of sick day for as long as I've been working there. I've been there for 6 years. My contract states I'm entitled to 6 weeks sick leave.
Are you trying to tell me that you know your contract better than I do? Do you want to lose your job? I told you. If you're not here in 1 hour, then that job is gone. And you'll be lucky if you get hired anywhere else. No one wants someone as stupid as you anyways. And by the way, it's 55 minutes now. You'd better hurry.
I should have stayed in bed. I should have told him to go to hell. But fear? Fear makes you do stupid things. So I went in. And the moment he saw me, he smirked.
Glad to see you take your job seriously. I need you to finish this report as soon as possible, Agatha. Now, let's see if you can do it without embarrassing yourself.
I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
You really should have stayed home. I'm worried about you.
He's right. I'll never get another job. I had to keep this job. I lasted 2 hours before I collapsed at my desk. My name is Agatha, and I live in a big city. I moved here when I was 18, after years and years of sickness. I was bored of the countryside, where my parents had taken me to get some fresh air. The city was full of excitement, and I met so many great friends. I later met a man at a bar, and we fell in love. Now, at 30, I'm happily married, but unhappily working for the biggest sociopath in the whole city. I mentioned my sicknesses before because my story starts a week before my 31st birthday, when the doctor gave me some bad news.
Agatha, we're really sorry, but your illness has come back. You need to take this medicine for 6 weeks, or you will fall gravely ill again.
Is there any way I can keep going to work?
Any kind of extra stress will cause you to get worse. I wouldn't risk it if I were you.
At that moment, I knew I was more scared of my boss than I was of my returning sickness. I have worked in a lot of places before and had a lot of wild bosses, but Lex took the cake. He wasn't just strict, he was vicious. He had this way of making you feel small, of breaking you down just to remind you who was in charge. Every day he picked someone to humiliate. Just last week, I was the unfortunate victim of his tyranny.
What the hell is this?
He'd waved my latest data report in my face, screaming, He mocked me.
I learned how to talk properly before kindergarten. Why are you still stuttering? Are you stupid, Agatha?
No, sir.
Are you sure? Because this report would say otherwise.
He tore it up and let all my hard work rain down around me. I had no idea what it was about it that he didn't like, and he didn't give me any feedback. Just screamed in my face until I had freckles of spittle and left me burning red and on the verge of tears. One day, an intern arrived just 13 minutes late due to traffic, and Lex was already waiting for her in front of the office. The moment she arrived, he made her wash his car before starting work as some sort of punishment. Lex was a terrible boss. He would come to work and immediately send someone to take his dog for a walk. Every day, he made me read his emails out loud while he sipped his coffee. One evening, he even made me drive him to his house, just because I went for lunch and came back 8 minutes late. Yesterday, it was Janie, the girl I carpool with.
What were you thinking when you ordered 101 pencils for the office instead of the 100 I asked for?
The +1 was a free gift.
Do I look like I need handouts?
Sir, it's not a handout. Please, stop shouting at me.
Don't you dare try and tell me what to do. I'm your boss. You listen to me.
Janie cried in the bathroom for an hour after that, and even when she got back, she was shaky and pale for the rest of the day. We all hated him. He made it his business to destroy people. I don't know why. Maybe he had a brilliant older sibling that he was always compared to, or perhaps he had never found a girlfriend and felt inadequate. Whatever it is, he was cruel. He made our best co-workers quit, tore everyone down until they were nothing. Most people left, not me. Because I had been so ill as a child, I missed a lot of school. I was very self-conscious about how hireable I was. I didn't have many skills, and I wasn't sure I even had the ability to learn. This made me an easy target, because I was a stable one. Because of this, he would always say the meanest things to me.
Agatha, you're not even trying to fight back. What, did you forget your spine at home?
Even though it made me so angry, I smiled. I nodded. I took it. Because I had bills to pay. And then one day, I got sick. Really sick. It was a resurgence of my childhood illness, and though my doctor's ultimate prognosis was good, it was only that way because he was confident I would be given the freedom to recover. I knew better. Yet, my life was on the line. My husband picked up extra shifts at the hospital, and I finally got the guts to call my boss. I gave him an explanation as to why I couldn't come to work. In return, I got a threat.
If you're not in the office in an hour, don't bother coming back at all.
But the doctor said I could die if I don't take the time to rest.
Did I stutter?
But my contract says I can take a week of sick day for as long as I've been working there. I've been there for 6 years. My contract states I'm entitled to 6 weeks sick leave.
Are you trying to tell me that you know your contract better than I do? Do you want to lose your job? I told you. If you're not here in 1 hour, then that job is gone. and you'll be lucky if you get hired anywhere else. No one wants someone as stupid as you anyways. And by the way, it's 55 minutes now. You'd better hurry.
I should have stayed in bed. I should have told him to go to hell. But fear? Fear makes you do stupid things. So I went in. And the moment he saw me, he smirked.
Glad to see you take your job seriously. I need you to finish this report as soon as possible, Agatha. Now, let's see if you can do it without embarrassing yourself.
I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
You really should have stayed home. I'm worried about you.
He's right. I'll never get another job. I had to keep this job. I lasted 2 hours before I collapsed at my desk. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The doctor said if I had waited any longer, I might not have woken up at all.
I warned you against stress. I wasn't joking, you know.
Sorry, Doc. I just need this job.
More than you need your life.
You would have thought that being driven away in an ambulance would be enough of a doctor's note to get me out of work, but instead, Lex got worse. It turned out he wasn't satisfied with just ruining my health. The day after I was released from hospital, my husband and I were woken up by someone incessantly ringing the doorbell at 5 a.m. Mark, my husband, had to be at work in 4 hours after working a double shift. He was tired, I was sick, and we both desperately needed sleep. I'll get it.
No, you need your rest more than I do. Stay here. I'll go check.
At first, all I heard was a confused groan from Mark, but steadily the voices grew louder. I thought of our neighbor with the baby that rarely slept, or the old lady next door who was frequently hit with insomnia, and I forced myself out of bed to see what was going on. Mark, is everything okay? Imagine my shock and horror when the person standing on our doorstep in the early pink morning light was my boss.
You think you can take a vacation while we do all the work? You're pathetic, Agatha.
Lex tried to barge into the house, but my husband, Mark, tried to stop him and reason with him. Lex didn't like being challenged, though, and he put up a fight at the first sign of resistance. Don't touch him! But Lex wasn't listening. He was so angry that when Mark tried to show him to the door, he lost control and shoved Mark so hard that he fell badly and injured himself. He then smashed our TV. How could you? You're causing a disturbance and assaulting my husband. I'm calling the police.
Don't you dare. I'm in charge of you, Agatha, not the law. Not your husband. Not you. I am. You're mine. And if you're not at work by 8 a.m., you can expect me to be back.
Mark had to get emergency treatment at his hospital, and I was made to take a rest. Just before 8 a.m., though, I sent footage from my door cam to the HR team at the company I work for. Lex might be my boss, but he has bosses too. He came after my husband, so I'll go after him. The video the HR team got showed everything. Lex's threats, the assault, the unreasonable demands. Along with it, I sent HR the doctor's notes I emailed to Lex and the text messages he'd sent in response. After that, I didn't even have to lift a finger. Karma works fast. The footage that I sent to HR was accidentally sent to the entire company, and within a few hours, news spread about the boss from hell. One post about him spread across the world in minutes. It gained traction as ex-employees spoke out about him. People who'd never even met Lex shared stories about their own horrible bosses, and suddenly the world was united in their mutual hatred of Lex and every boss like him. Janie called me up just before lunchtime.
He's absolutely losing his mind. His boss was here earlier and he was trying to deny it, but obviously it's all on video. It's irrefutable. I heard the CEO is coming over right now. I figured you'd want to listen in.
She was right. Minutes later, the CEO arrived.
Lex, what you've done is despicable. I can't believe someone as evil as you worked for me for so long. You can kiss your job goodbye, along with the severance package you were expecting. You will also be paying damages to the company for the reputation you have smeared. I expect you here for the night shift cleaning crew, and if you don't come, you can be sure that I will take this matter to the police. I'm sure the kind of abuse you've been dishing out will be taken a lot more seriously there. We're done letting you live here rent-free. Get out of here, you filthy vermin.
From there, the man's life devolved into chaos. I heard that his wife and kids left him, refusing to talk to him. He didn't have a job anymore, so he no longer had income. He came in at 10 p.m. every day to clean the offices, and for the first time since Lex became boss, people were coming in early. They came to watch Lex drag the vacuum around the floor and clean the toilets, but they also got work done. For Lex, it didn't even stop there. Because he'd made so many enemies, the whole city was against him, and having the city as your enemy left no room for kindness. It was a taste of his own medicine. The first big incident was when his car was stolen. The next day, it was found again, but it was at the bottom of the lake. The insurance wouldn't pay out, so he had no car and no money. At that point, I heard rumors that he was sleeping in a closet at the office so he wouldn't have to walk 2 hours to get in and go home. The second incident was when his house was robbed, and all of his nice suits and designer garb was stolen. He was reduced to wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt to work. The next was when someone threw green paint on him from their car window. His last set of clothes was stained green in splotches. He stuck out like a sore thumb. The whole city knew to look for the green man. He started hiding in the closet day and night so that he wouldn't have to go outside. After about a year, the CEO kicked Lex out onto the street.
We're done letting you live here rent-free. Get out of here, you filthy vermin.
From my new office window, which was Lex's old office, I watched security toss him to the curb, where he crawled for a moment before sobbing into the concrete. I didn't see him for a long time after that, until one day I spotted him mopping the floor in a gas station bathroom. He looked at me, opened his mouth to say something, but then I turned away and left. Thanks for watching.